that operates under the Department of Revenue and Ministry of Finance. Also, you must be hearing this word ED. The ED is primarily responsible for enforcing economic laws and regulations, including those related to foreign exchange and money laundering. Now, under the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, the Directorate of Enforcement has specific powers and duties. Here is an overview. Enforcement of FEMA. The first duty is power is enforcement. He has got the authority to enforce the provisions of FEMA. The main responsibilities of the Director of Enforcement is to enforce the provision of FEMA. Right, sir. Yes, enforcement of the provisions of FEMA, which deals with the foreign exchange management and regulation of foreign exchange transaction within India. Secondly, first of all, he has got the enforcement powers. Then he has got the investigative powers under this law. ED has investigative powers to inquire into and investigate contraventions and violations under the FEMA regulations. It can initiate inquiries based on information received and complaints or suo motu or on its own. Third power, that is, he has the power to adjudicate. The Directorate, the ED has the power to adjudicate cases related to violation of FEMA. Adjudication involves the formal hearing and determination of cases involving contraventions of FEMA regulations, imposition of penalties also. The ED has got power to impose penalties. The ED can impose penalties on individuals or entities found guilty of contravening FEMA provisions. Penalties are could be typically monetary fines or may vary based on the nature and severity of the violation. The fifth power that he has got under his gamut, the search and seizure. The Director of Enforcement has the authority to conduct searches and seizures to gather evidence related to the contravention of FEMA. It can seize relevant documents and assets during the course of the investigation. Arrest and prosecution also. The ED has the power to arrest and prosecute individuals involved in serious violations of FEMA. This may include cases related to money laundering and other economic offenses. Cooperation with other agencies. The Director also collaborates with enforcement with other enforcement agencies and regulatory bodies to address cross-border financial crimes and money laundering activities. Adherence to the due process. While exercising its powers, the Directorate is expected to adhere to due process and ensure fair treatment of individuals or entities under given investigation. Now, what exactly is the procedure for the appeals against the decision by the Directorate? The decision made by the Directorate can be appealed to the Appellate Tribunal of Foreign Exchange and subsequently to the courts if necessary. Now, it is important to note that the powers and duties of the Directorate of Enforcement may subject to amendment, and individuals or entity involved in foreign exchange transaction should stay updated on the latest FEMA regulations and the enforcement practices. So this is basically overall of the enforcement direct. What is the next topic, guys? Now you're supposed to read whatever we have points that we are going to discuss right now here. You have to keep this in mind that you read those points. Read those at home. Next is investigation, na?
Contravention and penalty. After investigation भी कर सकते हैं, sir.
Directorate of Enforcement is investigation. It is investigation, na? Page number 25. This we have done. Who empowers ED? First of all, check it out. Section 36 of the Act empowers the central government to establish a Directorate of Enforcement with a director and other officers of class or offices for the purpose of the enforcement of the Act. The central government has also been empowered to authorize director, additional director, and special director or deputy directors to appoint officers of enforcement below the rank of assistant director of enforcement to exercise the powers and charge the duties conferred upon or imposed on him under the Act. Guys, they are just talking about the composition part, but we have discussed what exactly is the role and what are the responsibilities and duties of enforcement directorate. Now, section 37. Section 37 of the Act empowers what? Empowers Director of Enforcement and other officers below the rank of Assistant Director to take up for investigation or the investigation the contravention referred to under Section 13. Now, investigation can be done by whom? By the Directorate of Enforcement. Now, what are contravention and penalties? Let's take. Contravention and penalties under Section 13. Just a second, it is. Contraventions. Then we have got contravention by companies. Section 31 of the Act states that if anyone breaks the rules in this law or disobeys any related orders, that they can be penalized. The penalty can be up to 3 times the amount involved if it can be measured, or up to 2 lakh rupees if the amount cannot be measured. If the violation continues, an additional penalty of up to 5,000 rupees per day may be imposed. In Section 13(1)(a), if someone is found to have acquired foreign exchange or foreign securities or property outside India exceeding a certain value, they can face a penalty up to 3 times the amount involved and the equivalent value within India, which can be confiscated. Now, Section 13(b) allows what? The adjudicating authority to recommend prosecution in certain cases, and the Director of Enforcement can initiate criminal proceedings if satisfied. Under Section 13(1)(c), if a person, very much important this point, if a person exceeds the prescribed value in acquiring foreign assets, they can face imprisonment up to 5 years in addition to the penalty mentioned in 1A. Section 13(1)(d) specifies that no court can take action on an offence under 1C exception on a written complaint by an officer not below the rank of assistant officer. Now the law empowers the adjudicating authority to impose penalty and the order the confiscation of currencies, securities, or property related to the violation. In case involving companies, individuals in charge of the company conduct can be held responsible for the contraventions unless they can prove that they were unaware or took adequate steps to prevent the violation. Now, if a company's contravention is linked to the knowledge or neglect of its directors or managers or officers, they can also be held liable and punished accordingly. So, this is a shortened version of the whole section. You can go through it. This is a shortened version of this contravention by companies. No need to study. Whatever I will be giving it to you, it will be sufficient for you. Got the point? Next point is contravention, compounding of contravention, guys. Yes or no?
हाँ जी, compounding of a contravention ही है सर.
जी. Compounding of contraventions. Compounding of contraventions. Yes. Now, contravention means breaking the rules of the FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, and the related regulations. Compounding is a process where a person voluntarily admits to the violation and pleads guilty and seek resolution. According to Section 15 of FEMA 1999, the Reserve Bank of India has the power to compound. Compound means to settle any contravention violation defined in Section 13, except violations under Section 3A of the FEMA. Compounding is allowed when a person who committed a violation applies for it. The Foreign Exchange Compounding Proceeding Rules 2000 provides the basic framework for the compounding process and may be updated over time. However, serious and intentional violations such as willful, malafide, and fraudulent transactions will not be compounded by the RBI. If someone breaches any FEMA provision except Section 3 rules, this one, they can apply to the Reserve Bank for compounding. Now, for violations under Section 3A of FEMA 1999, applications for compounding should be submitted to the Directorate of Enforcement. In simpler terms, compounding allows individuals or entities that have violated FEMA regulations, except serious violations, to admit their mistake, plead guilty, and seek resolutions from the RBI or Directorate of Investment, depending on the nature of violation. So this we have done. Now let us complete these 4 points also. Are you guys sleeping or with me?
Sir, with you.
With you, sir.
So we will complete all these points just one paragraph. Let me cover up. Guys, you don't need to worry. I will be sharing you the notes and important questions. So you need to be relaxed. Now, let's start with authorized persons. An authorized person under FEMA is an individual, firm, or a company authorized by the Reserve Bank of India to deal in foreign exchange or foreign securities. Now, these entities play a crucial role in facilitating foreign exchange transactions and are subject to the regulations and guidelines stipulated by the RBI. Next is adjudication and appeal. Adjudication refers to the formal process of determining whether a contravention of FEMA provisions has occurred and imposing penalties if necessary. If someone disagrees with the adjudication decision, they can appeal the decision through the specified appellate process. The first is appeal to special director. If dissatisfied with the decision made at the adjudication stage, an individual or entity can appeal to the special director appeals appointed under FEMA. So this is the next level of appeal beyond the initial adjudication. Next, establishment of appellate tribunal. The establishment of an appellate tribunal is a key feature under FEMA. The appellate tribunal is an independent body set up to hear appeals against or order or decision made by authorities under FEMA. It provides a higher level of review beyond the special director appeals. Next is appeals to the appellate tribunal. If a person is not satisfied with the decision made by the special director, they can further appeal to appellate tribunal. The appellate tribunal has the authority to review and decide on appeals related to the FEMA matters. Now, in certain cases, you can make appeal to whom? To the High Court. In certain cases, if a party is dissatisfied with the decision of the appellate tribunal, they may have the option to appeal to High Court. This represents a higher level of judicial review and part of the legal recourse available to individuals or entities under the FEMA. Now, these processes provide a structured mechanism for individuals or entities to challenge decisions made under FEMA, ensuring fairness and adherence to legal principles. It also allows for the hierarchy review for initial adjudication to higher levels of appeal, including before specialized appellate tribunals and ultimately the High Court. Now, I'm giving you some questions to check it out whether you have got some taste of this adjudication process or not. Just wait. And I'm going to check your answers even. It is an MCQ. Okay. It is an MCQ for you. I'm going to check the answers.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Yes. I have sent some questions, MCQ question, 10 MCQ questions. Read those questions and get me the answers. Have you got it? Anushka, आ गया?
Yes, sir.
इनके आंसर्स बताओ कौन क्या क्या होंगे. Type the correct answers. Type in the message box correct answers of all these in a pattern. A, B, C, D, whatever be the case. I will go to check it out. 5 minutes. Yes, Anushka. Anna, Aman. No answers. Am I audible, guys? Please confirm. Check it out. B, 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 C, C. How many are wrong? Shanti,
Just
will you
1
check?
minute. 1 minute.
Only one.
Just 1 minute, sir.
Very
B,
good.
B,
Very
B.
good. Great. This means you are listening thoroughly.
Two wrong answers.
Two wrong.
Yeah.
You kindly check what exactly is the wrong answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I am going to give you one more MCQ on Reserve Bank of India and main functions of Reserve Bank of India. Okay. It's quite simple, but let's check. Anushka, no answer.
Question number 6. Special director appeals, it has to go to appellate tribunal, no?
Mm-hmm. Just wait, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Question number 6.
Okay, solve this one also even.
Yeah.
It is on FEMA.
सर 6 का 4th है सर, अपीलेट ट्रिब्यूनल के पास जाएगा अगर वो स्पेशल डायरेक्टर के उससे वो सहमत नहीं है तो.
वो देख, let's check it out and solve this one also.
सर छठा वाला
On FEMA. On FEMA. I have created MCQ on FEMA also.
अभी भेजे हैं क्या सर?
जी बिल्कुल भेजिए, देखिए. Anushka, not in the class?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
हाँ सर,
Solve it. Hana, not in the class?
प्राइमरी